Yeah.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Ala's World of Finance. In today's quick video, I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to be basically responding to someone that I consider to be a little bit of an online troll or like a YouTube troll. And this person basically just left like a really negative comment on one of my videos. He accused me of a bunch of things that are not true. He says that I block and delete comments, and he says that I'm full of it. And he like basically says that I don't know what I'm talking about, and he basically was telling people to leave my channel and to go somewhere else, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't have any problem with that. But you know, if this guy's gonna take like little personal shots at me and leave a public comment where he's like making up lies, then I have the right to defend myself and to respond as well. So my girlfriend told me not to make this video, but I'm gonna do it anyway because for a couple reasons. Well, for one, it's because it's a public comment where he's accusing me of a bunch of stuff that is not true. So I just want to defend myself. But the other reason is because he's very anti-Nintendo stock, and as you guys know, Nintendo is my biggest stock, and I'm always talking about it. So I figured that my viewers may enjoy like seeing a bearish case on Nintendo stock and getting my feedback, like my response to that. So I'm gonna keep it clean. I'm not gonna like start cussing and starting a bunch of drama. I'm just gonna give a fair response to whatever he says, and I'm not gonna say his name. I don't go and argue with this guy. Just leave him alone. It's not a big deal. We can ignore people like that. It's no big deal. This is probably the only time I will ever do this. So let's just go ahead and get started here. So what basically happened was that I was talking about in one of my previous videos. I was talking about the stocks that I'm investing in June 2017, and someone left a comment on there. One of my subscribers left a comment basically saying that they're also investing in Nintendo because one of the stocks is Nintendo. And then this guy came out of nowhere and he left a reply, and he basically just went off on like a little rant and started accusing me of a bunch of stuff and said that I'm full of it and all kinds of stuff. So let's just go ahead. I'll read the whole comment and then I'll break it down and just kind of defend myself and defend Nintendo stock in the process. So let's go ahead and get started. So he says, blocking comments, question mark. Nintendo hasn't gone above its current price in 10 years. That was when the Wii came out. The Switch isn't getting the praise of the Wii. Not just that, but technical analysis says that it most likely won't go above its recent value. If you know so much, why didn't you make a video about Nintendo a few weeks ago? Anyone with any sense knows you're full of it. And then he says the name of the other person that left the comment because he's talking to them, but he's talking about me. So he says, he says that I'm full of it, and then he says Allah's World deletes comments critical of his videos. And my original comment simply stated that Nintendo had hit a hard limit to anyone that knows the basics of technical analysis. And then he ends the comment by saying, go somewhere else to learn about this stuff. So basically like encouraging people to leave my channel. So totally fine. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just going to give my response. So he starts by saying blocking comments, question mark, accusing me of blocking comments. Well, I've had my channel for like less than 2 months, and I have never, ever, ever blocked or deleted a single comment. I've never done it. So I don't know where he's getting that from, but I've never done it. The only thing I can think of is that sometimes YouTube will filter comments. So if he's like spamming or if he gets flagged by other people, maybe YouTube filters it. Maybe his internet wasn't that good and the comment didn't get published. I don't know what the case is, but I have never, ever blocked or deleted a single comment. I've never done it. So it's just a flat out lie. It's just not true. I've never done it. Okay, the next thing he says, Nintendo hasn't gone above its current price in 10 years. That was when the Wii came out. The Switch isn't getting the praise of the Wii. Okay, a fair argument. If he actually takes away like all the little lies and the little personal shot he takes at me, he might actually have a fair argument. But for the sake of arguing with him, like let's play his little game. We'll go ahead and respond to it. So he says Nintendo hasn't gone above its current price in 10 years. That was when the Wii came out. The Switch isn't getting the praise of the Wii. So it's true. When the Wii came out, the Nintendo stock was at around $80 a share, so it was at its highest. Now, BusinessInsider.com was recently talking about Nintendo Switch sales compared to Wii sales, so they were comparing the two, and they were basically talking about how the Nintendo Switch was released in Q1 2017, where the Nintendo Wii was released in Q4 2006, holiday season, okay? So if we get more detailed, the Switch was released in March, And the Wii was released in November, holiday season. That's a huge deal, guys. So even if we take that out of the equation, even if we don't even pay attention to the fact that one was released in holiday season, which is a big deal, the Wii sold 2.86 million units. The Switch sold 2.74 million units in their respective quarters. So that's very similar numbers. Now, his counter argument could be that that is no indication of lifetime sales, and it's absolutely true. That is not an indication of lifetime sales. But we don't know what lifetime sales will be because the Switch has barely come out. And when we invest in stocks, what are we doing? We're investing in stocks because we believe in them in the future. We're sort of speculating on the future. So it's no different in investing in Nintendo. I saw Nintendo releasing a great product, and I'm predicting that in the future it's going to do really well. Now, I've mentioned in a lot of my videos that I think that the Nintendo Switch needs to have Pokemon. So if Pokemon comes out for the Nintendo Switch, then I believe that the Switch can start getting close to Nintendo Wii numbers. But if Pokemon doesn't come out for the Switch, then that's a different story, and we have to reanalyze at that point. But I've said it I'm pretty sure in all of my videos where I talked about Nintendo, I've mentioned Pokemon. It's a big deal. The other thing to consider is that the Switch is sold out everywhere you go. If you don't believe me, you can go into your local Best Buy, whatever, and ask them if they have it in stock. They probably don't. Sometimes they get them in stock, but they sell out really fast. And Amazon, every time Amazon gets the Nintendo Switch in stock, it sells out within minutes. So the Switch hasn't even been available. So who knows what the numbers would be if we actually had more supply. But Nintendo was being very cautious with the Nintendo Switch, so they didn't supply as many as they could, and they were even air shipping the extra units that they had because they were in such high demand. So they were in huge demand. So for him to say that the Switch isn't getting the praise of the Wii, that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't really agree with that. I mean, that's a little subjective, because if you look at the numbers, it's very similar. And if we take it a step further, GameIndustry.biz, another article that I was reading, they were comparing the Nintendo Switch with the Nintendo Wii. And so they were talking about an interview that the president of Nintendo, Tatsumi Kimishima, had, where it was a Q&A with investors. And he was talking about how Nintendo increased its profit by 5 times. Now, I don't have enough space on here to write this, but I'll just read it from my phone. So the president of Nintendo was commenting on the Switch being comparable to the Wii. And this is what he says. Says, the truth is, we want to raise the installed base of Nintendo Switch up to the same level as the Nintendo Wii. Then he says, as we mentioned during our presentation, Nintendo Switch in America had the fastest start of any Nintendo hardware despite launching in March. In the video game business, it's important for consumers to feel that a sales momentum is going to grow. And we are setting a standard with Nintendo Switch to release a continuous string of major software titles from now on. In my opinion, that would be Pokemon. Okay, then he says, and if our sales go according to our plan this fiscal year, we will be able to see Nintendo Switch gaining the momentum in which it can approach relative parity with the Nintendo Wii. Okay, so there you have it right there. But yeah, so I mean, to summarize, I'm just basically saying that him saying that the Switch isn't getting the praise of the Wii is very subjective. I mean, what is he referring to? Is he referring to his own personal opinion? Because that's kind of what it sounds like. Because if you look at the numbers, you could say otherwise. All right, so let's just move on. Now, the next thing he says is not just that, but technical analysis says that it most likely won't go above its recent value. Okay, so that's a fair argument, but technical analysis might tell you that 90% of the stock market is overvalued. Lots of stocks are overvalued right now. You could argue that Amazon's overvalued. You could argue Google, Apple, Tesla. You could argue that they're all overvalued. I don't base all of my choices in the stocks that I invest in. I don't base it all on technical analysis. It's just one tool that I use. If we all use technical analysis, we would all be investing in the same exact stocks, and then we'd have chaos. So the technical analysis is not the end all be all, at least not for me. And we're all allowed to use different strategies. If his strategy is to use purely technical analysis, then that's completely fine. Some people do that and they have great success. But that's difference of opinion. That there's, he can do whatever he wants to pick his stocks, and that's totally fine. All right. And then he doesn't even really explain what technical analysis he's referring to. He just kind of gives a broad term of technical analysis. So I don't really know exactly what he's referring to, but we'll talk more about that later. Okay, moving on. He says, if you know so much, why didn't you make a video about Nintendo a few weeks ago? Okay, so, and I'll add this to it too. So then he says, anyone with any sense knows you're full of it. Okay, so this is like my favorite part of the comment. So he says, if I knew so much, why didn't I make a video about Nintendo a few weeks ago? Well, he published this comment on June 2nd, okay? My channel has only been around for less than 2 months. The very first video, the first video that I ever made where I talked about what stocks I'm investing in, it was a video called 2 Stocks I'm Buying in May 2017. And the 2 stocks were Nintendo and AMD. And it was mostly Nintendo because I mostly talked about Nintendo. That video was published on April 30, okay? So April 30 compared to June 2nd, that is over a month ago, okay? So he's saying, why didn't I, if I knew so much, why didn't I make a video about Nintendo a few weeks ago? I made a video about Nintendo over a month ago, and it was the first video that I ever made about any specific stocks that I'm investing in. So I don't know where this guy's getting his information, but that's fine, I'll let it go. Then he says, anyone with any sense knows you're full of it. Okay, so thank you for saying that. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that, but that's fine. He takes like a little shot at me. Not a huge shot. It's not a big deal. I can let it go. But I don't feel like I've ever done anything to warrant people taking like a little shot at me. I feel like I've always been very nice. I try to be nice. I try to make a friendly YouTube channel, but it's fine. He says anybody with any sense knows that I'm full of it. That's okay. Maybe I am full of it. That's fine. I can let it go. So not a big deal. He's entitled to his opinion. So let's move on. Then he mentions the other person's name because he's kind of talking to them, but he says their name. I'm not going to say the name, but he says their name, and then he says, Ali's World deletes comments critical of his videos. Again, I've never done that, so it's just a complete lie. Never done it. Then he says, and my original comment simply stated that Nintendo had hit a hard limit to anyone that knows the basics of technical analysis. Okay, that's perfectly fine. If he made that comment, I would welcome it. I ask you guys to leave comments all the time. If you have a negative view on a stock, that's absolutely fine. I got no problem with that. But when you start making up lies and then you say that I'm full of it, that's a different story. But if he would have just, there's no reason for me to have deleted that comment. Whatever comment that he's referring to, the way that he's describing it, it doesn't sound like anything that I would have to delete. And I've never done that, and I don't look to ever do that anyway. So I don't know what he's referring to. But then he mentions technical analysis again as a broad term, saying that I don't know the basics of it, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll let it go. So then he ends the comment by saying, go somewhere else to learn about this stuff. And again, I would just say that that's perfectly fine. I know a lot of other YouTubers that have similar channels. I've had conversations with them. They're some of the nicest people, some of the smartest people. And I would say that I don't even get close to making as good of videos as them. I don't even get close to doing as good of a job as they do. So if anybody wants to check out those channels, I absolutely encourage them to. If you don't believe me, go check them out. They're better than me. I'll be the first to admit it. They do a really good job. I don't really have the time to make videos. I spend hours upon hours researching for every single video that I do. But I'm a grad student. I don't have time. So I do this because I really enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it because I just don't have the time to do it. But I'm not as good as other channels. It takes me a really long time to learn this stuff and to produce just a single video. And right now I'm producing like a video every single day. So it's a lot of hard work. So I don't do it because I think that I'm the best. I do it because I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy, having conversations with you guys and stuff. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video in some way. And I would just say to please, just keep it clean out there, guys. Respect each other's opinions. We don't all have to invest in the same stock. We can all have different opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't have anything against this guy. It's totally fine. His opinion, he can have a bad opinion of me. That's completely fine. But anyway, I hope that all of you, including this guy, even including this guy, I hope that you all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care.